What's good in the hood, YouTube? This is Crazy Samurai 71 here, bringing another video. Today I'm bringing a video that I wanted to bring you yesterday on Sunday, but unfortunately due to the fact that I wasn't able to see it on Sunday, I have to upload it today on Monday. No big deal, but, you know, I usually like to upload it earlier rather than later, but, you know, I just didn't have the ability to. Anyway, this episode is for Power Rangers Ninja Steel episode 6. Yes, we are 6 episodes in, of course. That is excellent. This is Haley's focus episode. For those who don't know, Haley is personally my favorite character from the season so far. So I am very much so happy to see an episode focused on her. What happens is that the episode's called My Friend Redbot. What happens is that, let's just say this much, the episode basically starts off with Victor wanting to figure out a way to be a great dancer at the school prom or dance competition or whatever it was, or school dance in other words. So what happens is that he speaks to Monty, who apparently does have some dance skills or some technology skills or something like that, and that happens. But then we end up seeing, on the other hand, Redbot is reading a book, which was seen in the preview clips, which this book is about like this prince going with this princess to the ball. So he wants to do that with Haley because Haley apparently is going to be going to the school dance, and maybe he wants to go with her to the school dance. So the thing is that she actually rejects him, says like, nah, it's alright, Redbot, and doesn't take him seriously, even though Redbot really actually does want to. Before that, also I forgot to mention that Cody actually, her dog, which is the equivalent to a Zord, Kodiak Zord or whatever, comes over and tries to annoy Redbot while he's trying to read his book or whatever, but he's really just trying to play. So what happens is, anyway, Haley goes back to the school, and then in the meantime we end up getting introduced to our villain for the episode, Bad Pipes. Yes, Bad Pipes is like a bagpipe player, in other words, but a monster of that sort that has wings and everything. Cool monster, interesting overall. So what happens is that he's introduced, he ends up actually making the Kudabots and Cosmo start dancing, and they dance all across the Galaxy Warriors stage without Cosmo even realizing that he's doing what he's doing. So then at that point he's like, yes, he tells the audience, as you see here, I was able to make this whole entire group of people dance, and like them I will make the Rangers give up their ninja stars without having any sense of knowing that they're actually doing it. So that's basically the general idea here. So what happens is that then we end up seeing at the school dance setup or whatever, that we hear that Victor and Monty are trying to figure out a way so that Victor can become a good dancer somewhere. So they end up developing a technology, and they try to dance, and he does like his own dance moves, which really are awful. Like he does a spin that really doesn't work very well. It almost reminds me of Bulk when he did like the whole dance thing between him and Zach. If you ever watched MMPR, you might remember that episode. It's sort of similar because like they had like the spins and all that, but it's great. Anyway, he tries to spin, it doesn't work very well. So then what happens is that we then hear, I believe it was Brody and Haley communicating with each other, because what happens is they end up going back to the base, I believe it was, and the thing is that they see that Redbot is missing. The reason why that's important is because they're like, wait, do you know where Redbot is? And Haley's like, no, I don't know, but she ends up explaining how like he asked her to the dance or whatever, and the thing is that Brody basically explains that he actually that Redbot has emotions and feelings, and he's not just a robot. He actually is special for that reason. He's not just special because he's part of the team. He's special because he actually is very highly advanced in the sense of knowing emotions and knowing how to actually be almost like a person in a way, and act more lively. And she treats Cody like Cody's so much more of a person than even Redbot is, but in reality she doesn't realize that he is someone that has emotions and feelings. And so the idea is that maybe he went off because he was upset with how she didn't accept him to go to the dance. So what happens is that at that point Brody's like, alright, I'll go try to look for Redbot, and then Haley's like, you know what, I feel bad, you know what, I'm gonna go and try to see if I can find him. So then she uses the book that he was reading to she uses it to give it to Cody, who Cody then leads her to where Redbot's footprints were, and at that point they end up she ends up having to fight Bad Pipes. They fight. Suddenly what happens is that Bad Pipes makes her brainwashed and makes her go without her having any control to give up her ninja power star. But fortunately, Redbot comes over, kicks the bagpipes out of Badpipe's hands, and that results in the spell that the music has over her dissipating, and then leading her to stop doing what she was doing. She then begins to fight, and suddenly something that happens is that Redbot and Haley end up fighting a little bit with Badpipes, and then suddenly Cody ends up digging up some dirt and stopping Badpipes in his tracks. They then escape on the Ninja Steel bikes, Ninja Steel bike that she has, and Cody follows along. Actually, no, that's not right. They actually escape on Redbot's back, but Redbot actually gets injured because he tries to save Haley from being defeated by Badpipes. And the thing is that he ends up being weak, but he has his jetpack ability, which allows him to jump large distances, but he's very weak, so he can't do it very long, so they end up crashing. And what happens is that Redbot is in a state of malfunction, and the thing is that Haley's datacom isn't working. So because of that, she ends up attaching it to Cody's dog tag or whatever, and tells him to tells Cody to go and give it to the Rangers because they'll know what to do. So what happens is Cody ends up going off on his way to go find the others, and the two of them end up. Well, what happens is that Haley ends up trying to bring Redbot into a place where she can kind of keep him away from the Badpipes and just kind of protect him and hopefully bring him back to the base or whatever. Thing is that suddenly Redbot reboots and he's back to normal, and what happens is that she thanks Haley thanks him so much, and he says, well, I do this, it was nothing. I appreciate your thanking me. And the thing is that it's sort of like her understanding that he has emotions too, and she really feels bad that she treated him with such a disrespect, and feeling that like, I didn't treat you like you were almost like a human. You're more than what I thought you were. You're special. You're meaningful. I care about you, Redbot. And so there's definitely a deeper sense of love and trust between the two of them. And she's just very warm and sweet to him, and it's very nice. So then at that point, she ends up summoning the Ninja Steel bike, and the two of them ride on it to go try to find Badpipes. At that point, we end up seeing a clip with Cody meeting up with the Rangers, and the Rangers suddenly are suddenly see it, and they realize that the datacom's not working, and so then they go to try to figure out what's going on, because they know that Haley was trying to help Redbot, but they realize that the datacom's not working, so something must be going on. At that point, they end up going to the forest, and they end up encountering Ripcon and Badpipes. At that point, what happens is that they end up trying to fight him, and a huge blast happens, which then leads Haley and Redbot to go towards the blast, which is where they'll most likely be. At that point, we end up seeing that Badpipes uses his spell on the four Rangers that makes them give up their ninja power stars. But the thing is that before they can actually get it, before Ripcon can actually get it, Haley comes over, blasts a beam at Badpipes' bagpipes, and that causes the spell to dissipate again, this time leaving them from stopping to do that, and then they all transform after being very weak. And at this point, they then get ready to attack Badpipes, and eventually they weaken him down to the point that he is defeated, and then he gets made large. They then go into their Megazord mode and manage to defeat Badpipes shortly after. Following this, what happens is that we see some backstory, which is very important, which is that Ripcon failed, obviously, and this time what happens is we see Madame Odia's. She has a secret space that she has hidden within Galvanox's ship, which is where she is keeping the Gold Ranger. Yes, we are pretty much positive the Gold Ranger Aiden most likely will be most likely that's who the actor's gonna that's the character. He is being brainwashed. It sort of reminds me of in Power Rangers Zeo when Tommy was being brainwashed. Similar idea, but the idea is that in this case he's being infused with this evil power. Now it's not very clear exactly how they're going to do it. How much so is he going to be evil? Is it going to be a long-lasting theme, or is it going to be a short-time run with him being evil? It's very unclear though, but it will be interesting to see because the Japanese show did not have him as an evil character. He was not against the Rangers in that same way, so it will be interesting. Although I'm sure I believe there were some episodes that did have them butting heads with the Gold Ranger, but this seems pretty interesting. So yes, they are trying to so Madame Odious is trying to make him evil, but doing it without Galvanox or Cosmo or anyone actually even knowing about that she has this person and is infusing him with this evil power. But when we get to see his face, we see that there's like there's some sort of device that's covering his head, and there's just a huge amount of shadowing effect going on. But we know it's a guy, obviously, which is good. Looking forward to obviously seeing more of that, and you know, we are going to see that in episode 8, where they'll probably do a big reveal with the Gold Ranger most likely. So I am looking forward to that, to see how they will unveil him and how it will work out. It seems like she probably didn't capture him that long ago. It sounded like based off of the end of the episode that she probably captured him fairly recently. I wouldn't necessarily say like maybe in the past, like, you know, week or so, but maybe sometime, you know, fairly recent. I would imagine probably from the point that she ended up getting the gold. So sometime in between the episode that she actually got the gold ninja star and up to that episode that she probably got him. So it's not like she's been training him or anything like that. She's just brainwashing him. He probably has lived a pretty normal life for the most part. So anyway, what happens is that from there, we end up seeing them at the dance. Victor is actually doing pretty well, but the thing is that Monty is using the machine to make him do special dance moves, but suddenly the machine starts going haywire, and suddenly it starts making him do all sorts of crazy dance moves. There's like flames and bursts and everything that's going on, so he's really trying to make sure he doesn't like get hurt, and he's also just kind of scared of what's going on. But then at the same time, I believe it was what do you call it? Calvin like asked Haley if she wants to dance, and she says, "No, I want to first. I have someone else I need to go to first." And at that point, she ends up going back to the base, and she ends up meeting Redbot, and they both dance together, and the episode basically ends with them dancing and being happy. Overall, I really enjoyed this episode. It was a nice episode. Fortunately, and this was the fear that I had during the preview, was that I was hoping he wasn't going to be too much of the focus and it wasn't going to detract too much. I think that they did a good balance. I think that it was her focus episode, but it did have a little bit more focus on him. I mean, it had focus on him because it was supposed to explain that he was more human or whatever than she thought, but it was also more focused on her learning that and understanding that, which is much better than what I was fearing, where they would give him a lot of priority. It works a lot better, and it makes me feel good about how this will play out in the future. I mean, look, she doesn't have any special abilities, which is the other thing you have to keep in mind. Like, the other ones actually, they had to do certain stories based on their Japanese characters, but in this case she didn't really have that to worry about, so that's why it sort of is nice to have something that isn't necessarily prioritizing magic or machines. But it's cool. I liked it a lot. Anyway, please remember to like, comment, subscribe. Tell me what you guys think. Did you guys enjoy this episode? Leave your comments below. Stay tuned for the next episode in the next 2 weeks. So not this week, but the following one, and I should be uploading it as it comes out, or of the day that it comes out. So please remember to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. And until then, guys, I'm Crazy Samurai 71, and goodbye, guys.